Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. My name is Parnali Dharia. I'm a woman international master, and today we are going to have a look at the opera game which was played between Paul Morphy and Duke Carl. So e4, e5, knight f3, d6. Knight c6 is the main move, but d6 was played and it is slightly inferior. d4, and now black played bishop g4. So the idea was to prevent this, and you can capture here. So basically what he wanted to do was to pin here so that there is no attack on this pawn. But right now this is not a good move, and you will find out why. So let's see the game. Morphy captured d into e4, bishop into f3 was played, queen into f3, d into e5 doesn't work. Instead of bishop into f3, because then there is no pin here, and then you can just capture. So that's why first bishop into f3 takes, and then you take here. This is what happened in the game. Bishop c4. So now I'm just attacking the f7 pawn, and if black plays something like knight c6, then queen f7. It's a very common scholar or fool's mate with queen f7. So that's why he played knight f6, so preventing the mate. And now queen b3 was played. So queen b3 is a good move because you attack the b7 pawn and you also attack the f7 pawn in one move. So there's a double attack. And now queen e7 to defend this. And it is a correct move, queen e7, because now if I play queen b7, then you have this queen b4 check. Takes, and you don't at least lose the rook. Otherwise, there was a possibility of losing this rook. So that's why queen e7 is correct. And now white decided to play a good move, knight c3. So he's not going for the pawn, he's going for initiative. And Morphy was very famous for his attacking skills and his tactical vision. So if you are looking at any of his games, you will always find opening traps, or you will always find tricks in his games. So as a beginner, it is a really nice way to learn tactics and develop a feel for initiative if you can have a look at Morphy's games. c6 was played. So now black defends the pawn on b7 with his queen on e7. Indirectly he supported the pawn with c6. And now white just decided to develop the pieces, so he just played bishop g5. And now his idea is to play either rook d1 or long castle and control this d file. He's pinning the knight, and if you see, there is a lot of suffocation here for black because the bishop cannot be developed, the knight is not yet developed, and it's some sort of zugzwang already, because zugzwang is basically when the pieces cannot really move, and if you move a piece, then it usually leads to a loss of either a pawn or some material loss or some positional loss. So here if knight b7, then queen b7. So knight d7 cannot be played, the queen cannot be moved, because then bishop into f6 and the pawn structure will be ruined. So any move that you make will lead to some loss, and white is just developing all his pieces. He is getting all the pieces in the game. b5 was played in order to attack and to make this bishop move from here. So if something like this, then queen e6, and he would like to exchange the pieces so that if the game goes to endgame, then he can somehow survive. But of course, white is Paul Morphy, and he is not afraid of sacrificing, and he loves tactics. So this game was basically played in 1858, so 1858, and it is played in France. So a very old game and definitely a classic. So here knight into b5 is one variation, and one is bishop into b5. But the problem with bishop into b5 is that after this and this, you don't really threaten anything. But if you capture with the knight, and if you sacrifice knight for two pawns, then suddenly there is a check here, and your opponent is either forced to move the king or he has to put a piece in between. So this is what happened in the game, and knight d7 was played. So you can see the power of the bishops here. Both of them are pinning the knights, and again there's a zugzwang, and all the pieces are suffocated, they are very cramped. And now white decides to play long castles, so he's getting the king to safety as well as developing the rook. And now finally the rook is on d file. Now I'm attacking, and there's not really a defense here, because now the threat is to capture here. So if you can see, if I play something like h6 with black, then I can just take, because knight into d7 means losing the queen. So there's no support for the knight here, and rook d8 was played in order to give support. But now let me ask you a fun question. If you had a piece and if you wanted to mate your opponent, where would you like your piece to be? Like, if you can figure out there's a checkmate, which piece and where would you like to have it? You can take around 10-20 seconds to spot that. You can pause the video. Alright, so if you had a piece, you should have a knight, and the knight should be on c7, and it will lead to a smothered mate. It was just a hypothetical and a fun question. But rook d8 was played, and can you spot anything? Guys, there's something happening. Alright, I'll tell you. So you can just take here, rook into d7, rook into d7, and now you just play rook d1. So the idea is that you are again threatening the same thing, because the knight is pinned, and now with all these pins you are winning the game in a few moves. As you will see, black tried one last trick with queen e6. He thought white might just exchange the queens, but that is not going to happen, and white played the correct move, this knight into d7, and now there is a mate in 2, guys. So you can pause the video and try to spot it. Okay guys, I hope you have spotted the correct move, which is queen b8. So you sacrifice the queen, because now there is this checkmate with rook d8, and there is nothing that black can do. And this mating pattern with rook on d8 and bishop on g5, pawn on f7 is also known as the opera pattern. So opera mate, and it was called the opera mate or the opera mating pattern because of this game, as it was played at the opera house. And this was the game, guys, between Paul Morphy and Duke Carl. So if you like the video, do share and subscribe, guys. Hit the bell icon so you will be notified every time I upload a video on Chess Assist. So thank you for watching, guys. Take care, and I'll be coming up with more such videos. Good luck. Take care.